There we go. Welcome, everybody. We'll call this meeting to order on June 22nd, 2022. We'll start the meeting with an invocation from this is Nancy Miller. Welcome.
Hello. Today, since we are between holidays, we've had Memorial Day, July 4th is coming up, and of course, we just had Flag Day. So I thought it would be appropriate to read this poem by Janice Powell. It's called Look Upon the Flag. When I look upon the flag, I think of liberty, of lives laid down in sacrifice to make a nation free. Then I look upon the flag and think, how can it be that I could be so blessed that someone died for me? Again, I look upon the flag and tears come to my eyes as I think of all the freedoms lost and hear our soldiers' cries. For what, they ask, do we risk it all so a nation can trample our blood? No, we serve, we die to stem the tide of oppression roaring as a flood. Look upon the flag, my people, and see the freedom there. Remember what our nation was and fall to your knees in prayer. May God Most High restore this land and bring us back to Him, and may our flag humbly wave as a banner of freedom again. I thought it would be nice if we would stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
We have several guests today. The first one is Miss Alice Carpenter from Health and Wellness, and she's going to do a little stretching exercise to get us started out today. Alice?
All right. Right where you're seated, right where you are. Put your book down, your papers down. I want you to bring your arms to the front. Right here, you can reach forward. Right here, forward, back. Reaching to the right. That's all you have to do. Right there. Yes. Keep going. Deep breaths. To the front. Absolutely. You're going to lift up. Go where you can, right? Lift where you can. That's it. Keep going, keep going. Lift up. Good. A few more, a couple more. Absolutely. Come down, round your shoulders. Roll your shoulders. It's a shoulder roll. Feels so good. Lift the that back up. Round up, round up, round up. Yes. Deep breath. Everybody, deep breaths. Hold those arms going. You can side to side. Yes, both arms. Side to side. Absolutely. One more time. One more. Arms to the front. Side to side. That's it. That's it. Keep going. Good job, y'all. One more time. One more. Yes. Good. Bring those arms down. Deep breath right here. Deep breath. Breathe. Deep breath. Breathe. One more time. Here we go. Deep breath. Lift up. Hold it. Hold it. That's it. I want you to bring your arms down. Shake your arms out. Shake them out. Arms to the back. Open up just a little bit. You all look so nice and tall and straight right here. That's it. You did wonderful. I'm not going to make you do that again. Thank you for having me. Come see me. Turn the phone off. Come see me.
I want to have what she had for lunch. Thank you, Alice.
You're welcome.
Next, Beth, are you here? Beth Long wanted to make a statement about Cedar Chest. Okay. Diversity, Barbara Fiske.
A story first about the flag. Last Wednesday, I attended graduation of my 5th grade granddaughter Lucia from Mayberry Elementary School. In her class was a blonde-haired girl who smiled. She had come from the Ukraine 3 weeks ago with her mother. Her father is still in the Ukraine. All she wanted to do when she arrived on the first day was to go to the library and take a picture of all the books, and then to the flag and took a picture of the flag. She couldn't wait to send these 2 pictures back to her friends in the Ukraine or in Poland. This is how meaningful our flag, our freedom, and our books mean to us, and what they really mean to people from other countries. Thank you for listening. The last 5 years, I served as coordinator for the Diversity and Inclusion Action Team. We created programs and supported many efforts to encourage within the Cedarfield community a welcoming community and to attract a more diverse population. Today, I am here to announce our new name, DEI Team, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. Why did we change our name? It was time. It was time to evaluate our name and our purpose. Did you know that 2 of our team members have left us this year, and more left us last year because of offensive language and behaviors to those team members? I shudder in horror that we have done this to our team members. They have left a means of an employment, and they have left Cedarfield with very negative experiences. Often we proclaim ourselves as a friendly community, but some prospective residents and some team members who work here do not feel welcome here today on a daily basis. This is affecting all of us. Is this what we want our community to be? Oh, I'm glad to see some heads shaking. No. Well, there were a group of residents who for months joined in conversation and discussions and finally came to our new name, DEI Team, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. Our purpose is to encourage diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging here for our Cedarfield residents and team members through education and advocacy. Our world is changing. The world is changing. In 2021, the Center for Global Inclusion was formed and developed the Global Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Benchmarks. Pinnacle Living is in the process of adopting these benchmarks and have committed to the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion for their team members in corporate headquarters and for all the team members in their communities. We are 5 years ahead of Pinnacle Living, and now we are in sync with the rest of the world. Our DEI team, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, is very excited about developing new programs to bring about change in attitudes and beliefs. We all know this won't happen overnight. Some people are scared to change, and some people don't want to change. But we encourage you to be open with your mind and your heart and partake in the activities, programs that we offer you throughout the year. We are thrilled to bring you one of our first offerings, the showing of the movie Traces of the Trade, the Slave Trade, on September 14th at 2 p.m. Come, join us, fill this fellowship hall. Area reps, we're asking you to bring your friends, your neighbors, tell everyone. We will send reminder notices in the mailboxes. In the past, we have found that movies and discussions have led to meaningful understanding of differences and similarities. I leave you with this thought. The DEI team, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, wants you to adopt the platinum rule that specifies we should treat others the way they want to be treated, or do unto others as they want to be treated. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. That's obviously something we need to look at and work on. Ms. Bailey, back row.
Thank you. Good afternoon. The June BACRA meeting was held June 17th in the Fellowship Hall. We had 48 in attendance, and the program was live streamed. Our program was Honoring Choices Virginia. Honoring Choices is a collaboration with the Richmond Academy of Medicine, Bon Secours Richmond, HCA Virginia, and Virginia Health Services to educate and encourage the public to learn about and to think about future medical needs, better known as the Advanced Medical Directive. This program was so successful. So many people have called me or stopped me in the hall and said, I need this. How do I do it? What can we do? Well, we will be working with Cedarfield and Honoring Choices to bring their volunteer counselors here to Cedarfield. We're going to work, I've already talked with Katrin, and we're going to work out a plan for all of this, for sign-ups and that sort of thing. So anyone who is interested in having a conversation about their future medical needs, their Advanced Medical Directive will have the opportunity to have that conversation, or to develop one, or to alter what they already have. There is absolutely no charge for this. This is a free opportunity for people who need this conversation to have it with those professionals who know what they're doing. Our membership is increasing, and we are continuing to actively recruit. Our current membership stands at 118. Area reps, if you are interested in having a meeting with your area and having a VACRA representative talk with your area people about who we are, what we're about, what we stand for, that sort of thing, and answer questions, we would be glad to send people to your area. Just let us know. Although we're not going to have membership meetings in July and August, we will continue to work not only on increasing our membership, but planning the kind of programs that will give you the information you need. The kind of information that you need to be engaged. The kind of information that will allow your opinions to be heard. The kind of information that you need to be an empowered Cedarfield resident. Remember, there is strength in numbers. And if you, any of you, would like to contribute to our numbers, I happen to have, much to Mike's surprise, applications here for you today. And Mike, I won't be here in July and August, so you're off the hook.
Well, I'm going to comment after we approve the minutes on a couple of things, just on a couple of things that were said today. But let's get started with the approval of the minutes. And if you noted, we made a correction. We had a statement that said 2023. It should have been 2022. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes? Larry?
I would like to propose corrections to the minutes, please.
All right. You're supposed to do this in advance, Larry.
You need a move and a second before discussion.
Say again.
You need a move and a second before discussion.
All right. Do we have a move okay, second?
Second.
Okay, so approved. Larry? What do you want me to say, Larry?
The minutes as indicated in the minutes is not correct. I have indicated what is correct, and apparently the two are not quite the same.
Let me just say this. In the future, I'm going to say this about the minutes. Unless there is a correction to the minutes that substantially changes the format of the minutes, I'm not going to change the minutes. It's not our responsibility. How they are presented, if somebody writes down the wrong thing slightly or grammatically, I'm not changing the minutes. And I was going to make that statement in my opening remarks. Larry, you can have a seat.
May I read the minutes as
Larry,
reported and
I am
as
not
stated?
interested in what you're saying right now. Sorry. And we're not changing the minutes.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyway, going forward, I repeat, we're not changing the minutes unless the format of the change substantially changes the meaning of the minutes. Does everybody understand that? It's not up to Vivian and me to change whatever somebody else said or wrote or presented. So I want to make that clear. And secondly, I'm going off script a little bit to talk about what Ms. Bailey had to say.
Are we gonna approve the minutes?
Oh, yeah, yeah, sorry, thanks, Ann. So, okay, second.
It was our second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Minutes are approved by whatever. Not unanimous, but close.
Majority.
Now, I'm going to talk about what Ms. Bailey said. I believe what Vacker is doing is really effective and is appreciated. I'm a member. But what I would hope to ask is that Vacker maybe could look to the Residents' Council in some form when we have things like you're talking about doing to work through a committee also somehow at Cedarfield that might have the similar type of thing going on, so that we don't duplicate effort and we don't, because what you're talking about is worthwhile.
Yeah, what I plan to do is talk with Ann in the clinic about that.
Okay, but I would like also to have the Residents' Council appropriate committee be involved if we're going to do that, so that we know what we're doing. Jackie,
Can you repeat what you just said? Could you both, I guess?
I couldn't hear what she said.
Could you repeat what she just said? I should have given her a mic.
You're commenting about it, but we don't know what you said.
Okay,
Here, would you like?
Or can you go up to the microphone and
you can do it there.
About what I said?
Yeah, would you say it again?
Oh. What I said was, I plan to talk with Ann in the clinic to see if she, as an RN, can give us some help with this too.
Okay.
And let her know what we're doing. Since our meeting on Friday was so successful and so many people have requested assistance in this area.
I agree with you 100%. I just ask
Right, we will.
that we look through the committees to make sure that we're not doing the same thing and duplicating effort. That's all.
One more thing, would that be the health committee? Which committee would it be? The health committee?
Yeah, health and wellness.
Health and wellness?
Health
It could
service.
be health services, or
Health services.
it could be health services, or it could be the wellness. I'm not sure. It's one or the other.
Well, you know, I said I'm working with Katrin, so
Okay.
she's wellness.
All right. Very good. I've lost my train of thought.
I can't do anything but
Sorry. I want to talk a little bit about safety. Recently, we've had a resident that was vandalized in broad daylight at a local grocery store. I just bring this up because I want all the area representatives and everybody here to understand that when you're shopping, if you're shopping by yourself, even in broad daylight, you have to be cautious, have to be careful. This person she was followed after she went to an ATM, and when she went to Publix and got out of her car, she was accosted and asked for money by somebody that was much bigger, And she did end up giving money to that individual. I just point out there are options that you can have. I would go with somebody else. Pairs are better. I'd take the bus. There are opportunities, if you're concerned or nervous, I'm just saying that these are opportunities that you can use here at Cedarfield for your protection, and they're here. And this time of year, people, I'm getting more scams on my computer, more scams on my phone. We've had people here, somebody told me that the IRS called them and asked for money. Quite frankly, the IRS is never going to call you and ask for money. That's just not going to happen. And if you don't know what it is and you're concerned about it, let's say Amazon. I get it all the time. Amazon, somebody will say, somebody's ordered a refrigerator on Amazon. Are you okay with this? And so if you go in and respond to it, then what's happening is they've got your name, your number, and they get into your account. And you just would, if you're questioning it, call Amazon and say, I got this report. Somebody's asking me, is this a good thing? So I'm just saying, be careful. And anyway, Jackie?
Also, be observant when you're driving. If you make a left turn, the car behind you makes a left turn. You make a right turn, they make a right turn. You know, even if it means going somewhere entirely different than what you intended to, where you intended to go originally, that's a way to filter these people out.
Jackie said to be aware of the car behind you, beware of your turns, if somebody turns and follows you, change your direction. That's a good thought. But let's be safe. Let's not have this happen to anybody else at Cedarfield.
Most all of us have keys with an alarm on them that goes off. When you're getting out of the car, hold on to your keys.
Yeah.
And you can push that and it'll set off your car alarm.
I mentioned that, and the lady said she got so nervous she didn't think about it at the time. Next thing I wanted to talk about quickly is the holiday Christmas party for employees is coming up. We're going to be looking for somebody to chair the finance part of this deal. It's a big thing. When Barbara talked about the diversity and people leaving because somebody made bad statements to employees, one of the best things we can do is this Christmas holiday party. We can show our appreciation. And Robbie did a great job last year. We had a record turnout and record number for that. So I'm going to probably be asking some people. If you've got some ideas, I'd be glad to listen. But that's something big that's coming up that doesn't require an enormous amount of work, but is something that is very important. Yes, Ann?
Sally Wood and I are co-chairing the party, which will be held on December 8th. So mark your calendars now from 2 until 4 in this room.
We're looking forward to that.
We give the party for the residents. It is not for the residents, it's for the team members.
Oh, I'm sorry. I like a party. All right, moving on. Where are we now? I must be out of order here. What's next, Vivian? Committee reports, right? This was, who's first? I mean, this is not in order. Communications?
Communications.
Do we have a report?
Road.
Ro, do you have a report? No. Let me show this to you. No, I got the ones that are coming. I don't want to go through them each time.
Dining and a bureau report. That's what you said.
We're good. Yeah, come on up.
Ravi couldn't be here today, and he asked me to report on the dining committee. So I'm going to read what he wrote. The dining committee met on June 15th. Topics discussed. The Atrium Cafe kitchen does not have proper air conditioning, making working conditions extremely difficult, particularly in the summer. This needs urgent attention. Staffing is processing well, and if it continues, dinner guests could be invited starting sometime in July. That's if we can keep numbers down. Takeouts continue to be an issue. The average is 110 per day, with some days going up as high as 130. It's come down from 150, but needs to be below 80. For reference, pre-COVID, it was in the region of 50. Since the Prima kitchen is used for packaging takeouts, Prima, as it was configured pre-COVID as a fine dining restaurant, cannot open until takeouts are reduced. Several options for reducing takeouts were discussed. This will be studied further by the dining staff in collaboration with the dining committee. Sustainable practices for food container usage was extensively discussed. Compositable containers are 5 times as expensive as styrofoam. Biodegradable materials often are not broken down in clay-lined landfills. Go Green recyclable containers are a solution, but is only being used by 30 or so residents. Very often the containers are not returned. Various options to encourage the use of Go Green containers were discussed. These options will be further studied. The idea of a cocktail lounge has been an ongoing discussion over the years and was again brought up. An ad hoc committee of the dining committee will study options for the cocktail lounge. Also included will be embellishing the atrium with access to sporting events. Clubhouse events such as cookouts will be resumed in fall, subject to staffing. Recognition of staff excellence will be initiated. Details to be decided.
Vivian has got me organized, I'll be okay. Speaking about what we just talked about dining, it's critical that we get this number down on the takeouts, really. I mean, we cannot open Prima if we're going to have 120 takeouts every day. So, yes.
My question, why are the numbers so high? Why are so many people doing takeout as opposed to coming into the dining room? Do they think? I don't know.
Well, one of the things, Jackie, do you want to, let me comment first on a few things. One is people got used to it during COVID. Second, you can get a full dinner there, take it back, and you've got a second meal. But third, what you're missing is you're missing the sociability of what goes on in the dining. And we're taxing the staff tremendously with this, plus we're now in a situation where the recycle thing has gotten talked about. We're worried about the styrofoam, and we're talking about maybe Go Green completely for this takeout. Or if you go to compostable type of materials, maybe there will be a charge for it. So there's a whole lot of things that are going on in relation to dining that in this takeout that could be changed. The atrium originally was built to take the takeouts. That's where it was. They were built to take takeout. That's one of the reasons the atrium was put in place. But going forward, my suggestion is reduce the items that you can take on takeout. Go green on takeout. Those type things. Or use the atrium, which has also already got a reduced menu. Those are options that I threw out, but I don't know where we're going to come with them. Jackie?
Jacqueline, it's food choices sometimes. You can go in there and look at the appetizers and they'll have far out type of stuff And the average person could care less about this diversity in food choices. There needs to be some solid, basic meat, potatoes, type things. And that makes a lot of difference of people eating upstairs and not.
I agree. The other thing is, this is amazing to me, but about 3 out of 10 people call and ask what is on the menu today. So, I mean, that takes time, going through the menu. So, if you're going to order takeout, you need to know what you want and order it. But 3 out of 10 people don't know what they want and ask what's on the menu.
COVID gives you 10 days of takeout. Wait a minute.
If you're restricted from COVID, you get 10 days of takeout. Not that you want it, but I don't know how many people have to do it, but we're just finishing up. I'm looking forward to going to the dining room.
Yeah, I understand. And some people are not interested in going to the dining room right now if we've got cases of COVID. So, I mean, there are a lot of reasons for takeout, I guess. But I think in the future it's going to be limited regardless. Somehow. Something's got to change, or we can't get back to where people who enjoyed Prima will be able to enjoy it anytime soon. So, next report is facilities. Susan?
Okay, I'm deviating just a little bit from the facilities meeting to go over a couple of important items. First of all, I want to talk just a minute about the resident handbook. If you have recently moved into the big house, whether you moved from a cottage or you are a brand new citizen of the big house, you need to review the procedures for emergencies in the big house as they are outlined in the updated and revised handbook. When living in the big house, it can be quite a cultural shock when the fire alarm goes off for the first time. And those of you who have moved up from the cottages, it's a very scary thing and you really don't know what to do. So the recommendation is to read the handbook and it will put you at ease in the future. If you have lost your handbook in the move, you can get one online. You can look on the My Cedarfield app and read the book there. Or if you yes.
Microphone.
Pardon?
Microphone at your motion.
Oh. Here? Okay. In any event, thank you, Ann. You can read the handbook online, or if you want, I'm sorry, what's the problem?
Your mouth is turning away from the microphone.
Sorry. Okay, this is my second time up. I'm working on this. In any event, if you need a hard copy, you can call Eleanor Moore, Mr. Gregg's wonderful executive assistant, and she will get you a hard copy. Now, secondly, and this is really important, some residents have experienced problems with their cell phone in the D-wing garage, and that's not surprising because there are a lot of concrete. So, it is very important to be sure to wear your medical alert device when you are going to the garage so that if you were to have a fall, you will be found. I had asked Ann Hopper today whether the medical alert would even work in the garage, and she did not know. So she and her staff or somebody went and tested the devices this morning, and she got back to me and said, yes, they do work. So that's good to know if you are a D-winger. Okay, now on to the Facilities Committee meeting. We met on June 14 and we discussed a number of concerns with respect to the facilities. Staffing still remains a challenge in the maintenance department. filling position left vacant by Gloria Weeks' retirement was a top priority, and I'm happy to say that they have hired a candidate and she will start on the 29th. Work is underway to link the work order system, and I will tell you now, according to Lacey Salamone, as of Monday, there were 307 work orders pending, of which about 194 are for preventive maintenance. But work is underway to link the work order system to the Cedarfield app so that we will be able to enter work orders online. You will be able to follow the status and know when it is complete. So I think that's a promising thing to help the whole process. Plans and drawings are underway for the D-Wing generator, and I know the D-Wingers will be happy about that. No promise as to when it will be completed, but at least it's underway. Now, the Atrium Tunnel continues to weep. I call it weep instead of leak, but in any event, every time we have a heavy rain, there is continual leaking. So we are back to the drawing board again. And I think Mr. Gregg is looking at companies which treat wet basements. And in a way, the tunnel is a basement. It's totally underground. So maybe that makes sense from an approach to get it fixed. And then the only other thing, the effort continues to identify challenging doors for folks who use mobility devices of any type. We've identified, I think we talked about this last month, the package room, the C2, D2 entrance, and the entrance to the D garage elevator. None of those have automatic openings for folks, so I'm hopeful that those are going to get taken care of. Mr. Gregg indicated that he wants a full inventory before they tackle the problem. So if you have experienced difficult doors anywhere on the campus, if you would let me know, maybe just after the meeting today, I brought a blank sheet and I will be happy to write down any doors that you find difficult getting in or out of. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Health Services? Yes, Sylvia.
I don't live in D-Wing, so I don't use the garage. But my question is there an emergency telephone in the garage?
I do not know.
Anybody live in D-Wing?
This is next.
Is there?
I think there is by the
Gardening and then health
There
services.
is one in the elevator.
So we're at finance.
You're saying there is a telephone?
I'm pretty sure there is.
In the elevator.
In the elevator?
Yeah.
That, yeah, okay. They might want to discuss that.
Okay.
You're not going to get people wearing their lavaliers, I can tell you. But it seems to me it would be important to have an emergency phone other than in the elevator.
Okay, I'll have to check that. I don't know. I'm going to hang around in the garage.
I'm out of order a little bit. Flowers next, Louisa.
I would like to assure the council that the news that Trader Joe's will no longer be giving Cedarfield their leftover flowers on Thursday morning is not the end, but the beginning of another chapter. TJ's has shared generously with us for a number of years, and both staff and residents have been treated to the gift of flowers and potted plants most weeks of the year. Now another very worthy organization will be receiving the flowers and putting them to their good purposes to make their part of the world a better place. Not to worry. The Cedarfield Flower Committee is fully committed to providing fresh flowers every week, and currently 14 places around the campus. That includes Morning Glory, Poppy Place on a bi-weekly delivery, and assisted living for the new health center, the healthcare building. These and all our flowers are paid for by a variety of donations and commissioned arrangements. Our current cost is approximately $200 a week. I would say that we are working to raise the money to supplement Cedarfield budget of $1,500 a month, but actually we are watching in awe as support has come in to make sure our public places can continue to have beautiful fresh flower arrangements every week. To those of us who are encouraging us in words and gifts, thank you. We appreciate it no end. They say the happiest people on earth are those who are doing exactly what they're called to do and been created to do. I believe flower arrangers can bear witness to that. Certainly this one can. Thank you all.
Thanks, Louisa. Now, Elvira, Health Services.
The Health Committee met on June 8th. Ms. Oliver, who's taken the position Matt had, was introduced to the committee members and gave her thoughts as to the direction of the license side. Ms. Rose led a discussion related to the development of a brochure to introduce residents' families to the health areas. This should be finalized and ready for distribution at our next meeting. The purpose of it is to know what to expect when you go to health services, any of the areas on the health side. And Ms. Ross will have final plans in place by the August meeting as to how and where residents can dispose of unused medications so you don't have them in your home. Any questions?
Thanks, Elvira. Sally, library.
We had a surprise the other month that Milt Cherney gave us $1,000. He designated 500 of it to buy non-profit books, which, as you may well know, we favor fiction. And so I do ask you, if you're a non-fiction reader, you make suggestions of good books to get, because we want to be judicious about spending that $500 and not use it up just for the sake of spending it. Now, the other $500 constituted a challenge to raise another $500 in order to buy the Washington Post. The Library Committee does not buy the Washington Post or any other paper besides the Times-Dispatch. That's all our budget allows. We get a pretty good price on the Times-Dispatch, but it's still $700-ish a year, and this all comes out of the Friends of the Library. And so, I was going to tell you how I needed more money, but as I walked in the door, which I love, I got the $500 total I needed. And one of the biggest beneficiaries, I did ask her, because I had a chance to ask her to use her name, was Sally Ward, who gave us $300 of the $500. And then other people who read that paper in the library, and many members of the library committee gave us generous checks also. So that was great. And Allison Zack worked with me on how to do this, because I don't think we have had challenges before. So it is something to keep in mind for the future. And I did want to say, too, that we have problems losing our Times-Dispatch. We only have one copy, and oftentimes someone takes it away from the library, and we try desperately to keep it there. I have asked the Library Committee today if anyone gets a copy of the Times-Dispatch in the morning, and you're an early reader and you really are not going to, work with it again, if you could bring it to the library so we'd have 2 copies. Not to encourage one disappearing, but to encourage the fact that people almost stand in line to read the Times-Dispatch, because it saves people a lot of money not to have to buy that. We've made a lot of improvements to the library, we've made a lot of improvements to the library. I hope you're enjoying what we've done. Familiarize yourself with the fact we have many more books besides fiction. I've been taking a little chalkboard and every couple of days putting a suggestion of a new book to read, more to say, look, there are other areas in this library and you might want to explore all the possibilities that we have. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Sally. Wellness and Leisure, who's reporting on that, Vivian?
No report from Wellness and Leisure.
Okay, there's a written report in there.
I'm sorry, yes, Wellness and Leisure, there is a report. It will not be an oral report. There will be no oral report, but it will be in the print copy of the minutes.
Okay.
And there was nothing from the welcoming committee.
Okay, very good. We go to area reports. Andy Carter's, he's got a report here, but I don't think he's here. Vivian's going to do it. Okay.
Our Area 2 meeting was called by Andy, but he unfortunately had a funeral. So he was not there, and I took notes. So don't hold him responsible, okay? We met with Paul Gregg on June 9th. It was a very interactive meeting. There was no formal agenda, and the questions that were asked were made up the contents. He was very responsive, and I want to mention a few things that might be of general interest outside of Area 2. Staffing in healthcare continues to be an issue, but it is getting better. Agency people are being called in, and Cedarfield is actively and assertively searching. They are offering, in case you know anybody, signing bonuses of $2,500 for nurses and of $1,000 for CNAs. Apparently, finding people, they're just not out there. It was mentioned that for healthcare emergencies, it's important to call 911 first and then pull your cord. If you pull the cord, the person comes to your wherever you are, and then calls 911. There's a delay in getting the ambulance or whatever to you. So call 911 first if it's that kind of an emergency, and then use your pull cord. Dispatch health, the difference between dispatch health and affirmation health. Dispatch health is comparable to a doctor's visit, only in your home. And whatever your insurance covers for that would cover dispatch health visit to your home. Affirmation health is in-home care, and it's an ongoing thing. It's not necessarily tied to a medical issue or condition, and it is not covered by Medicare. There was a question about Cedarfield's drug policy for employees. Essentially, people are drug tested as part of the pre-employment screening process. There is not a policy of testing before every shift. Residents, especially walkers, are concerned about speeding. You hear this every time. They're concerned about speeding and failures to stop completely at stop signs and the need to yield to pedestrians at crosswalks. After some considerable discussion, Paul Gregg will consider speed bumps and sidewalks along Cedarfield Parkway. Roof replacement will proceed this summer, but no schedule has been announced. And tree trimming requests should go through Beth Burrell. At some point, you should be aware that there will be trees removed. This is particularly relevant to cottage residents because in some instances the trees have been planted too close to the cottage and the roots are interfering with foundations and all kinds of other issues. This is not an imminent thing. It may be as much as a year or two away, but be aware that there are reasons, not just, hey, why don't we cut down a tree? That's all, thank you.
Area 4, Robbie's not here, but he said they had a successful barbecue to get together on May 25th. Next, Area 9, Larry, you want to report or you just want to make a statement?
Report has been submitted.
Okay. Larry said they had a well-attended get-together Saturday, 18 June, and welcomed Carolyn and William Lawson, Department 209, and Tab Farrenhold, Department 235. Area 21. They've submitted a report, but apparently there's
no one to give.
no one to present.
They're in lockdown. Whole area. This is delivered. Oh, this is delivered, yeah. Sure.
That's it, right? Any questions or anything that anybody wants to talk about now? How about old business? Let's say, does anybody have old business they want to speak to? New business, Andy Carter's, in his report, someone asked that VACRA be considered as a member of the Residents' Council. And I think that's something that we would look at and discuss. Any further business? Yes.
I understand, though I don't know, that I'm thinking of getting an electric car. I understand that Lakewood has electric charging stations, and I'm wondering if the Cedarfield is thinking of having them other than people just having them in their garages.
Well, that would be something we would definitely have to ask Mr. Gregg, and I'll be glad to do that. Then one in the back. Okay.
About the charging station, why would we have to have a charging station for electric cars? We don't have a gas station for a gas car.
That's true.
They have to be charged.
But I will ask the question of Mr. Gregg going forward. Did we have another question here?
I wanted to share information regarding the suggestion of maybe a security phone in the garage. I was making a little list of comments and then I was going to meet with Paul. But because so many people probably have heard about the accident down there, I just wanted to suggest really that we would consider getting a security phone.
Put your phone.
A security phone, and I wondered about whether there was any, I can't think what you call it, the watchful eye in the sky. And it was pointed out to me that there is one there, but we were not aware of it. It was last week, I think, that one of the residents in the D-Wing, 4th floor, she usually comes up on her walker behind her husband, but she diverted and went down the elevator to get some cushions or something out of the car, and we were all running around looking, trying to find her, and it just so happened, I said, well, I'll leave it to you all, I've got to go run and earn, and when I went downstairs, she was falling back on the concrete and bleeding, and so there was all this discussion about protocol. And I don't know protocol. I keep hearing that there's a nurse supervisor or somebody on duty all the time. But anyway, I went to concierge, and that lady on duty didn't know the procedure. And so she called security. I wanted to tell you They took 20 minutes for security to get there. Security came, and here she is, she's bleeding. I discovered she was bleeding from the back of her head. And they took 20 minutes to get there. 2 of them, and they were trying to run around, and they were upset that their cell phones didn't work. And I said, you have to go outside. That's what we know. So anyway, then they called the fire ambulance. Total time from when I discovered her until the ambulance was here with all that going on was 1 hour.
That's totally unacceptable.
Exactly. And she was, the woman of course wanted me to lift her. And I said, no, you have fallen on concrete and then you're bleeding. I'm not touching you at all.
No, you can't. You can't. I mean,
I know,
my question is, did she have a pendant? No. So I mean, that's an important thing for anybody, especially somebody in a walker, to have their pendant and be able to activate it. I would assume the pendant would work in the garage.
Yes, it was tested today by Ann Hopper.
Go ahead, Joey.
Okay. Mike, I just wanted to ask if it's possible to have an update as to how many COVID cases are active right now on campus.
Well, as of yesterday, there were 8 in independent living, 3 in Morning Glory, and 1 employee.
That's the same today.
Just Morning Glory?
3 in Morning Glory.
Yeah.
8 independent living.
Oh, 8.
And one team member.
Okay, thank you.
So a total of 12.
We're shut down in Morning Glory. You can't go visit. Right.
So I'm sure that Morning Glory is probably locked down.
It is.
And assisted living, I believe they were evaluating whether they were going to put that back open again as of today, because they were going to test the people that had come off to make sure they were off before they opened assisted living back up, is my understanding. Questions back here?
Thank you.
I'm just going to comment that when you find anybody with any kind of injury, call 911 and then worry about calling Cedarfield.
I agree.
All the more reason to have a telephone down there.
If I've fallen, I do not want you calling 911, depending on if I have, what my injuries are. I mean, you've got to use some discretion and common sense.
Of course you do, but she was bleeding. So, anything else? I apologize for the little glitches today. I'm sorry that I didn't have my act totally together. It will be totally together next time, I promise. Y'all have a great day and stay safe, and I would recommend that everybody that's concerned about the COVID wear their mask.